All right, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to All Levels Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. We're going to begin using either 2 yoga blocks or a long pillow or a rolled up beach towel or blanket. Now, if you have a blanket or a long pillow, you can cross it towards the rear of your mat so that you're able to keep your pelvis on the floor as you lie back to roll your shoulders off of it. The shoulders might be touching the ground or they might just be hanging. Make sure that it feels comfortable for you to relax in for a few minutes as we begin. You might need something under your head if the pillow is really high, like a smaller prop. Now, if you have 2 blocks, take one at the tallest height and place it at the rearmost edge of your mat, and then the second height block, space it closer to you so that you can lie back, and it's just beneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades that will rest on the lower block. The same effect of rolling the shoulders back into the space between the blocks and down. So you want to feel the support in the back of your rib cage. It helps to broaden your collarbones, expand the heart space in the front. And then once there, you can decide what to do with your legs. Either extend them forward like you would in Shavasana, splay the knees apart, give the hips some opening, soles of the feet together. Or if you're seeking some lower back relief, if there's any tightness there, you could do the opposite, which is stepping the feet apart, wider than hips width, and dropping your knees together to touch. Now, to further help open the fronts of your shoulders, rotate your palms to face up. Let the backs of your hands rest on the ground slightly away from your sides. Just allowing a moment to transition into your yoga practice. You might like to close your eyes. Taking some deeply grounding breaths. So this week has been an exploration of the third yama or ethical principle within the first limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. And that yama is called asteya, and it means non-stealing. We talked about how one of the reasons that might cause someone to want to breach this principle is the feeling of envy. So I found this article in Psychology Today written by Dr. Frank John Ninivaggi in 2013, and it's called Melting Envy, the Brilliance of Understanding and Gratitude. All world change begins with constructive personal activism. And he says that envy makes you interpret the world in a fear-based manner. And it's often deeply rooted in unconscious envy that prompts one to feel inadequate, incomplete, impotent, and missing out on something. So why does envy exist at all? Well, he says that we need darkness to show light. The light that understanding uses to melt non-awareness into conscious, choice-laden opportunities for improvement. Self-development is constructive personal activism predicated on a sense of adequate self-agency and self-efficacy. I love that. And then he says that there are 3 prerequisite assumptions that lay the foundation for envy management skill development. 1, witness change, an inevitable part of life, as an adventure to take part in. Not to control, but rather to find and to work with. 2, the primary measure for comparison must be one's own self and future sense of possible aspirations. And 3, in exploring and then choosing alternative pathways to envy, the values of cooperation, reciprocation, and sharing must play a large part. And then finally, he lists some envy management techniques, which he says is a long-term process of building emotional maturity. And so the first technique is to recognize the automatic dichotomies that envy provokes, like superior, inferior, good, bad, ideal, valueless, and the like. Extreme polarizations can provoke powerful feelings and activate the flight or fight response. And a key is to pause, to modulate one's impulsivity. Such a big practice of mindfulness, right? Take a deep breath, create some space between the stimulus and the response. And then 2, as perspective taking and empathy increase, admiration and emulation come to the forefront, so that each person attempts his and her personal best in the company of others deemed kin, not strangers or hostile competitors. In this spirit of mutuality and sharing, all become winners and gratitude prevails. And 3, forgiveness is nourishing the milk of human kindness, as he says, and provides the motivation propelling forward positive psychological expansion. The ultimate reconciliation, however, is between parts of the self that have harmed each other by the auto-destructiveness of envious processes. He says that forgiveness and gratitude are synergistic counterparts whose oscillation signals the healthy maturation of envy. Forgiveness and gratitude. Forgiveness and gratitude. So as you lie here now in this supported heart-opening posture, forgiveness and gratitude are the capacities of the energy of the heart, also known as Anahata Chakra, the heart energy center. Physically, we'll focus in this area and opening it up and releasing layers of tension we might carry around it, including the fronts of the shoulders. Let's see how you might benefit from bringing a sense of gratitude in your practice today. Or maybe consider, is there someone, including yourself, that you could offer the kindness of forgiveness? As you continue to deepen your breath, start to just breathe through your nose if that's feasible for you. Your mouth closed, sustaining your breath evenly in and out. Feel the inhalation blossoming across your chest, your side ribs, and even into your back ribs and belly. As you softly constrict or narrow the back of your throat, invite a very gentle sound, a whisper that's smooth, soothing, and balanced. And as you tune to your breath rising and falling, begin to set your 2 feet onto the ground, knees bent towards the sky. And very gently either turn over to one side or rock forward in your own way, rising up to sit tall and comfortably. And you might even want to grab your pillow or prop to sit on top of, if that allows you to feel more upright in your spine and grounded to your left and right sitting bones. Breathing in through your nose, breathing out to your nose. Bring your hands to your belly and let's focus a little more breathing there. Expanding the abdomen as you breathe in, contracting the belly as you breathe out. Mouth closed. We're gonna quicken the breath into what's called breath of fire. It's a nice heating, stoking Agni, the digestive fire, as well as heating for the core muscles of the abdomen. And it goes like this. You focus on the pulsation of the out breath, bouncing the belly towards the back. The in breath is passive, both are quick, in and out. And it sounds like you're blowing your nose quickly. So we're going to take this practice for 1 minute, and those of you that would like to add the physical action of the arms, it's extending the arms out 60-degree angles straight, shoulders relaxed, and you stick your thumbs up towards the sky as you wrap the other fingers in to feel an active stretch between thumb and index fingers. And this is called Ego Eradicator Kriya from Kundalini Yoga. And with this, you practice breath of fire. You can have the eyes closed, steadying your gaze towards the center of your forehead. So find a rhythm that you can maintain as I set the timer now for this practice of 1 minute. Ready? Begin. Last 10 seconds. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. Keep your arms up. Lift your pelvic floor. Draw the navel in. As you exhale slowly through your mouth, bring your thumbs to touch overhead. Eyes still closed. Turn your palms towards the earth as you lower your arms down by your sides and onto your lap. So fire, often a symbol of transformation and purification, as gratitude and forgiveness have such power to transform envy. So let's continue to build warmth using Ujjayi Pranayama. Closing your lips, back to softly narrowing the back of your throat, creating a whispering sound as you balance the breath, sustained in and out. And from here, lower onto hands and knees. Set your knees a couple inches behind your hips and your wrists directly under your shoulders. And as you point your index fingers straight ahead so they're parallel to each other, widen your thumbs flat on the ground. Inhale into cow pose, gliding your chest forward, then coiling it up to look towards the sky. Exhale into cat pose, hollowing your belly as you look down and tuck the tailbone under. Take about 4 more cycles, really slow, inhaling as you broaden your chest up. Exhaling as you lift the belly in. On your next exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips high, and enter downward facing dog. Take about 5 breaths if you'd like to shift around for a moment in your own way. Pedaling your feet to warm up the backs of your legs, softly shaking your head to loosen your neck. Whatever you need to do here. Now see that your feet are hips width apart and you're paralleling your second toes to each other. Bend your knees and lift your hips high. Feel your hands with your fingers spread, rooting down firmly between thumb and index. Pressing the mat away with your palms, lift the energy up your arms as you straighten them, lifting your shoulder blades onto your back ribs. Let your head fall, relaxing your neck. Rotate the outer sides of your upper arms towards the ground, and then draw your belly inward towards your spine. Take a deep breath to enter plank pose, top of a push-up, stacking your shoulders right over your wrists as you gaze past your hands on the ground. Exhale, contract your belly, lift your sitting bones back to downward facing dog. Let's take that twice more. Inhale, glide forward, top of a push-up, plank pose. Draw the belly in. Exhale, draw your thighs back, downward dog. Breathe in, plank pose. Breathe out, downward facing. Walk your hands back towards your feet to fold over your legs at the rear of your mat, and bend your knees generously so that your belly could actually rest on your thighs. Reaching your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, or grab a strap to hold between your hands. Shift your weight heavier onto the balls of your feet. And as you breathe in, lift your chest and extend it forward, lengthening your spine. Exhale, fold even deeper with knees still bent, letting your head completely fall as you stretch your arms forward for a few breaths. Lift your shoulder bones up away from your neck. You might even want to explore some movement of your skull at your neck. Then cross your left hand to the outside of your right calf or ankle. Keep your right leg straight as you draw that hip back. Bend your left knee and reach your right arm towards the sky, straight up, palm facing your right wall. Breathe in and stretch your spine forward to trace the midline of your mat. Soften your shoulders back and exhale, twist, turning your chest to face your right wall, maybe even gazing up towards your right thumb. Let's take just a couple more breaths in the spinal twist, where you're using the reach of your right fingertips towards the sky to help broaden the front of your right shoulder. And with an exhale, lower your right hand, cross it to the outside of your left calf or ankle. Bend your right knee, keeping your left leg straight, tack your left hip back. Stretch your spine forward as you breathe in, shoulder blades down your back. Twist to your left as you breathe out, raising your left arm up. As your palm faces your left wall, feel that energy of reaching up from your sternum at the middle of your chest, throughout your left collarbone, your shoulder, your elbow, your wrists, and then your left fingertips. One more breath. And exhale, lower your left hand. Inhale, circle your arms, rising all the way up to stand. Let your palms meet as you gaze up. Exhale, cactus bend your elbows apart and cross your left elbow over the right. Now, 3 options. You can hug yourself, hook your thumbs, or wrap your forearms and palms in eagle arms. Let your shoulder blades slide down your back ribs. Lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders. Gently press your forearms away from your face. Now, as you keep your feet parallel, hips distance, bend your knees. Lean your weight towards your heels, sitting into a modified chair pose, another 3 breaths. Glide your shin bones back and feel perhaps your toes even lift off the floor. Hug your front ribs in and anchor your tailbone towards the ground as you might sit a little lower. Lift your chest. With an exhale, press down through your soles and rise up. Inhale, circle your arms overhead, watch your palms touch. Exhale, cactus bend your elbows and cross, right elbow over left. Hug yourself, hook your thumbs, or wrap your forearms and palms. Draw your shoulder blades down, lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders, and gently press your forearms away from your face. Bend your knees back to modified chair pose, or Uttanasana. 3 breaths. Glide your shin bones back, so if you were to peek down, you could see your toes. Knees are not blocking them. And then lift your chest, steady your gaze forward. Soften your shoulders, direct your tailbone lower. Exhale, press to your feet, and rise up to stand. Inhale, circle your arms overhead, palms touch. This time, exhale and fold forward. Press the ground to your shins, and inhale, stretch your spine halfway up. Exhale, crawl your hands forward into plank pose. Now, right beneath your shoulders, lower your elbows into forearm plank pose. Forearms can be parallel, palms face down, or fingers interlaced. Gaze forward of your thumbs and take a deep breath. Exhale, 5, slide your shoulders back. Inhale, firm your heels back, legs straight. Exhale, 4. Inhale, broaden your chest forward. Exhale, 3. Inhale, lift through your navel and the sides of your waist. Exhale, 2. Long line from crown, tailbone to heels. Exhale, lower your knees, lower your pelvis. With forearms parallel, palms face down, let's take a few breaths in Sphinx pose. So feel an active energy of your legs stretching towards your rear wall. As you point your toes, press down through every toenail. Pelvis on the ground, knees active and not touching the ground. Let the front of your shoulders slightly draw behind your ears as you press the tops of your shoulders down, taking one more wide breath across your chest. As you exhale, slide the heels of your palms to land just beside your floating ribs. Keep your feet on the earth. Inhale, lift your palms 2 inches to hover off the ground and coil your chest up. Floating palm cobra pose. 2 more breaths. Keep hugging your elbows close to your side ribs and feel the effect of broadening your chest. With palms pressing the ground, tuck your toes. With an exhalation, press up to your plank pose. Lift your hips back, downward facing dog. Deep breath. Inhale, slowly lift your right heel behind you, lifting from the inner thigh to keep your hips square. Exhale, bend your right knee towards your chest, rounding forward to plank. Softly step your right foot just inside of your right hand. Stay high on the ball of your back foot and bend your left knee to hover. Pressing through your feet, inhale to rise up into crescent lunge. A little movement here. As you keep your tailbone anchored downward, inhale, coil your chest up and backstroke your arms. Staying in a lunge, exhale, sweep the backs of your hands forward and contract your belly, sort of like cat-cow. Circle the arms up as you breathe in, coiling your chest up again, backstroke your arms. Continue the arms forward as you round, exhaling. One more, inhale, backstroke the arms, lift the heart. Exhale, contract the belly, sweep your arms forward. Now from here, as we lean forward, lengthen your spine as though it were a flat back. Hover your belly off your right thigh. You could bring your arms down by your sides for less intensity, up to you. 2 more breaths. Scissoring your right hip back, bend your front knee just over the ankle, and bring your left outer hip forward. Entering Warrior 2, backstroke your left arm towards your rear wall and drop your left heel. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Let's add some movement here. As you press down through both feet, inhale, keep your right knee bent, sweep your right palm up and lean towards your rear wall, reversing into Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, lift up through Warrior 2. Bring your right forearm to gently push off of your right thigh and sweep your left arm overhead towards front wall, side angle. Twice more, inhale, up and back, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, up and forward, side angle. All the while, legs are in Warrior 2. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, rise up, and let's stay in Warrior 2 as you steady your gaze past your right hand. About 5 deep breaths. Straighten your right leg for triangle. You may want to shorten your stance 2 to 3 inches. Firm the front muscles of your thighs. Glide your pelvis sideways towards your rear wall. And reach your right hand forward towards your front wall before lowering it onto your shin or just to the right of your right calf, perhaps using a block. As you raise your left arm up, rotate the tricep towards your left wall. Then reach your left arm overhead towards your front wall in extended triangle pose. Now, as you continue to wrap your right outer hip beneath your body, direct your tailbone actively towards your left outer heel. Firming your lower belly in, spin your chest slightly towards the sky, perhaps gazing up. Let's take another 4 deep breaths in Utthita Trikonasana. Reversing triangle down through. Bend the front knee, not to lock it. And inhale, rise up, flip your right palm overhead towards your rear wall. Exhale down to plank, lowering through a vinyasa of your choice or cat-cow. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Deep breath. Keeping your hips leveled, inhale, slowly raise your left heel behind you, lifting from the inner thigh. Exhale, round forward, bending the knee towards your chest. Softly land your left foot just inside of your left hand so that your feet are hips width apart. Bend your right knee to hover. From down through your feet and inhale, slowly rise into crescent pose. Now let's flow with the breath here. Keeping your legs in crescent, inhale, backstroke your arms and coil your chest up. Sweep your arms down and forward as you exhale to hollow your belly, look down. Again, inhale, lift the arms into a backstroke, coil your chest. Exhale, round, sweep the arms forward. Inhale, lift, backstroke. Exhale, round, sweep the arms forward. Now let's stay here. Lengthen your spine diagonally forward. Arms can be overhead or down by your sides with palms facing down. Couple more breaths. Send your right outer hip forward. Scissor your left outer hip back. And lift your navel towards your back. Entering Warrior Two, backstroke your right arm. Spin your back heel down and align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Keeping your legs in Warrior Two, another short breath-led flow. Inhale, flip your left palm to face up, sweep it overhead towards your rear wall in Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, rise through Warrior Two, reach your left forearm forward, down to left thigh, right arm overhead, towards the front wall, side angle. Again, inhale, up and back, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, forward, side angle. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, side angle. From here up to Warrior Two, set your eyes in one spot, just past your left hand. And take 5 cycles of breath. Forgiveness and gratitude. Perhaps one resonates more with you in this moment. Now, as you firm down through both feet, straighten your left leg to prepare for triangle. You may want to shorten your stance 2 to 3 inches. Glide your pelvis sideways towards your back wall and reach your left hand towards your front wall before lowering it onto your shin or just to the left of your calf. With your right arm up, rotate the tricep to face your right wall and sweep that arm overhead towards the front. Now feel that you're wrapping your left outer hip beneath your body, directing your tailbone of reach for your right outer heel, firming your abdomen, and spiraling your chest open towards the sky, perhaps even gazing up. Let's take another 4 deep breaths in Utthita Trikonasana. Reversing triangle pose, root down through your feet. You might micro bend your front knee, rise up, flip your left palm overhead towards your rear wall. As you exhale, lower through plank into your vinyasa of choice. Remembering that child's pose or any other resting position is available at any time. Let's land in downward facing dog for 3 to 5 breaths if you're not in child's pose. Bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high. Look beyond your hands and empty your breath. Hold it out as you walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. With feet touching, inhale, lift your chest, lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle your arms to rise up. And exhale, your hands together at your heart. Let's take one round, a continuous breath-led movement of sun salutation B. So sustaining your breath, let's go slowly, yet continuously. Feet touching, knees touching. Inhale to sit back into full chair pose, arms forward and up. Exhale to hinge forward into a fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. Step into plank or float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. Inhale, raise, right leg back. Exhale to softly step the foot inside of right hand and spin left heel down. Facing forward, inhale, rise into Warrior One. Exhale, lower through plank into Chaturanga Dandasana. Breathe in as you lift your chest. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, softly step the foot inside of left hand, spin right heel down. Facing forward, inhale, rise to Warrior One. Exhale, lower through plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Breathe in, float your chest up. Breathe out, float your hips back. 3 to 5 breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend your knees, look beyond your hands. On emptied breath, lightly land at the top of your mat. With feet touching, inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. With knees touching, inhale, sit back into chair pose. Shift your weight entirely into your left foot and exhale, rise to stand with right knee bent, right foot off the ground. So hug your knees together, bring your left hand to your left hip, backstroke your right arm, and catch hold of, if you can, your inner right ankle or foot. Otherwise, whatever part of your foot or leg you can reach. Draw your tailbone down towards your inner left heel. Feel the firmness of your abdomen as you begin to kick your right leg back as though entering Warrior 3. While pulling your right leg towards you, reach your left arm towards the sky. Breathing in, feel a buoyancy across your chest. Helped with those counter forces of kicking and pulling with the right leg. Let's take about 3 more breaths here in Natarajasana, dancer pose. So we're going to continue this balancing on left foot as you rise up to stand. Join your hands at your heart. Turn out your right thigh at the hip and wrap your right leg around your left in eagle pose. Bending both knees, either flex your right foot outside of your left leg or tuck your right toes behind your left calf and slightly scissor your right hip back, both hips facing forward. Either keep your palms in prayer or cactus, bend your elbows apart, crossing left elbow over right. Hug yourself, hook your thumbs, or wrap forearms and palms. Sit a little lower. Let's take another 3 breaths. Deep breath in, lift your elbows a little higher if you can. Opening your wings as you exhale, release your right leg and come to stand in mountain pose. Placing your left palm at the middle of your chest. Set your right palm directly on top. Close your eyes and feel your body breathing. Bringing intention into breath, into movement, into posture. Open your eyes, feet together, knees together, and let's sit back in Utkatasana chair. Breathing here. Join your hands at your heart. Shift your weight onto your right sole. Rise up to stand just on that leg as you bend the left knee to hug the right. Backstroke your left arm. Bring right hand to right hip. Left hand catches hold, if you can, the inner side of left ankle or foot. Begin to kick your left leg back as though entering Warrior 3. While pulling the leg towards you, raise your right arm towards the sky. Breathe in, float your heart space open. Natarajasana. Keep turning your left outer hip forward. 1 more deep breath. Feel stability in your right sole as you rise upright. Bring your hands to prayer at your heart and turn out your left leg. Wrapping it over the right leg, bend both knees as though in chair. Either flex your left foot or tuck its toes behind your right calf and slightly scissor your left hip back. If you want to add your wings, cactus, bend your elbows apart and cross your right elbow over the left, hugging yourself, hooking your thumbs, or wrapping forearms and palms. Breathe in, breathe out. Garudasana. One more inhale. If you can, lift your elbows a little higher. Preparing for flight. Exhale, spread your wings. And back to mountain. Left palm on heart center, right palm on top. Drop in for a few breaths. So take a look around and find your blocks, please. You're going to come down onto our knees and set the blocks in front of you on their medium height, like a train crossing your mat. Sit back onto your legs and extend your arms forward, palms face down. Rotate your triceps downward to flip your palms up. To feel your shoulder blades broaden across your upper back and soften down, creating space in your neck. Keep that action as you bend your elbows to land exactly shoulders width apart on the blocks. Press your fingertips into each other. Hollow the center of your palms. Then walk your knees back slightly behind your hips. Tracing your thumbs down the back of your skull towards the back of your neck in this tricep stretch. Let your head fall towards the ground and side of the blocks. Let your chest melt towards the earth. But firm your belly up in support of your back, hugging in your front ribs. Let's take another 3 deep breaths here. As you breathe out, hollow your belly and slowly rise to all fours, hands and knees. So we're going to prepare for a couple of inversions like we did recently. The first is dolphin pose, and then the second is either dolphin pose on your own or follow me through a progression towards Shirshasana or traditional headstand. So do the same thing with your arms again and rotate your triceps down. Feel that broadening of your shoulder blades and that stabilizing of your scapula onto your back ribs away from your neck. You want to maintain that through any of those 2 inversions. And then set your elbows on the ground exactly your shoulders distance apart and interlace your fingers. You can coil your pinky fingers like a snail so you don't squish any one of them, and firm down through your outer wrists, forearms, and elbows. Use that rooting down action to rebound a lift of energy up, creating space within your shoulder joints as you continue to draw your shoulder blades down your back. Now, tuck your toes behind and lift your hips high. Walk your feet forward if you're able to as you firm the fronts of your thigh bones back like you would in downward dog. Breathing here about 5 breaths or so before you lower to rest in child's pose. Now you want to make sure that your shoulders don't hover forward of your elbows, but they remain slightly behind your elbow tips as you're pressing your chest towards your thighs, but firming your belly inward towards your back. Now on this round or the next, you might choose to bring your feet together, keep your hips squared, and flex a foot as you lift it up towards the sky. Just another way to vary the posture and play with your balance further if you like. Take maybe 3 breaths to rest in child's pose, where you might want to wrap your arms down outside of your thighs. Perhaps even turn your head to one side and then the other to stretch your neck. So dolphin pose, there's no weight bearing on your head. You can either just let it hang freely or look forward, which is more active. So either take dolphin on your own again, 5 to 10 breaths, or let's prepare for Shirshasana and you can take any step of the way towards it. Let's begin like dolphin. Elbows, shoulders width apart, interlace your fingers. Now on the inner webbing of your palms, you'll rest the back of your skull lightly. There's some space between them and your head. The very top center of your head, your crown, should be on the floor to maintain the natural curvature and space of your neck. You don't ever want to feel like you're compressing your neck in this pose. In fact, most of your weight is pressing through your forearms and elbows. Then tuck your toes and lift your hips. Begin to walk your toes forward so you slowly feel the bowl shape of your pelvis tilt towards upside down. You might come high on one set of toes as you flex the opposite foot, keeping your hips squared and hugging your midline as you lift one leg straight up. Then you might switch. Or use the rise of one leg through your hamstring to begin pulling up the opposite leg. Maybe the feet come together at the top, flexed, hugging your midline. And if they do, think of pulling your heels up towards the sky, tailbone lengthening up towards your inner heels. So the architecture is stacking your major joints, ankles over pelvis, over hips, over shoulders and elbows. And as you feel ready, take your time to lower to rest. In bowing hero's pose, Adho Mukha Virasana, also known as child's pose, Balasana. And from child's pose, press your hands onto the ground alongside your knees and slowly roll your spine upright, one vertebra at a time. So let's take 2 blocks. Have a seat with your feet in front of you. Hug the skinniest width of 1 block in between your thighs. Firm down through the 4 corners of your feet as you parallel your feet. With the second block, extend your arms straight forward and hug the widest width of the block in between your palms. Fingers together so you're not gripping the mat. You're using the strength of your upper arms like a clamp. Draw your shoulder heads back and down and lift through your crown as you lengthen your full spine. Taking a few breaths, slowly lower 1 vertebra at a time. And when you land your skull, go ahead and put that block between your hands off to the side for a moment and bring your arms straight down by your sides so that you can slide your feet back to the point where you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite, just almost. With feet still parallel, hug the second block firmly between your thighs. Let's prepare for regular bridge pose, holding for 5 or more deep breaths of your count. As you ground your shoulders, tilt your chin slightly back away from your chest. Then inhale, lift your pelvis. Keep breathing as you walk your upper arms closer together under your back ribs. Keeping your arms straight without bending your elbows. If your hands meet, you might clasp them. Now as you engage your hamstrings, you want to feel as if you were dragging your heels back towards your glutes without actually moving them. At the same time, stretch your tailbone forward towards the block. Lengthen your thighs forward. Feel the broadening of your chest as you open your throat. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, bridge pose. And it's your call when you're ready to use an exhale to carefully lower 1 vertebra at a time. Keep the block between your thighs and just rest with pelvis on the ground, 3 breaths. Now for the last heart opening back bend, you can either take bridge pose on your own or follow me through the stages of progressing towards upward facing bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana. So keep the skinny width of 1 block firmly hugging between your thighs. Feet where you could almost reach your heels with your fingertips, parallel the feet. So those of you coming into upward bow or towards it, Raise your arms towards the sky and wrap your triceps forward, just like we did earlier. Bend your elbows and flex your wrists, palms face the sky. And then begin to lower your palms face down right alongside your ears. Keeping your elbows exactly shoulders width apart, imagine you're hugging a second block between them. Draw your shoulder blades down your back, turn out your fingertips slightly towards the outer corners of the rear of your mat, and begin to lift your pelvis like bridge. Deep breaths. As you activate your hamstrings, with the energy of dragging your heels towards your glutes, draw your tailbone forward and keep hugging the block. From here, see if you could press your palms down and lift your head to bring the crown of your head onto the floor. If so, you may want to step your palms a little wider apart and maybe slightly turn them out some more to prevent your elbows from splaying. Draw your shoulder blades down your back and see if you could maybe press off with hands and feet, lifting your head off the ground. Now, if you are in Urdhva Dhanurasana, think of length, tailbone lengthening towards space between the knees, sternum lengthening towards rear wall, shoulder blades down the back. Deep breaths. From upward facing bow, reverse the stages of coming into it to come out. Crown of the head to the floor. Tuck your chin towards your chest to slowly lower one vertebra at a time. If you were an upward bow, you might want to take a moment to stretch your wrists by circling your hands. Either way, let's put the block aside from between your thighs. Then separate your feet wider than hips width apart. Separate your knees just as wide apart as your feet. Drop both thighs to your right side, pointing your left knee down the center line of your mat. Notice how this feels on the left side of your pelvis and lower back. If you're feeling enough opening in that area, stay here. Otherwise, cross your right ankle just above your left knee onto your left thigh. You might add reaching your arms overhead, catching hold of opposite bent elbows as you relax your shoulders down your back. Feel your breath expand into your lungs and belly. Listen to the whisper out to your nose. When you finish this breath, unwind back to center, relaxing your arms. Feet wider apart than hips width, knees just as wide apart as your feet. Then drop both of your thighs to your left side and trace your right knee down the midline of your mat. Notice how the right side of your psoas feels here. If you want some more sensation there, pick up your left ankle. Cross it just above your right knee onto your right thigh. You might also add raising your arms overhead, switching the cross of the elbows on top, catching hold of opposite ones. Then resting your shoulders down your back. And from here, uncrossing your legs and arms, draw your bent knees into your chest. You may want to rock side to side or forward and back, or circle your thighs together. Now for just one last minute, choose a final cooling posture before Shavasana, like a block under your sacrum as you lift your legs straight up into supported shoulder stand, a hip opening happy baby pose with pelvis on the ground, supine frog pose, displaying the inner thighs apart, or seated forward fold or regular shoulder stand. Just about a minute long. If you are in a full shoulder stand, you may want to take a few breaths in plow or halasana as you make your way down. And then within a few breaths, carefully land your body in its final resting position to be still in for Shavasana. For those of you who would like to join me in a guided meditation, allow your fingers and toes to begin moving Maybe you gently turn your head in different directions, perhaps stretching your arms and legs too. And you might keep your eyes closed as you continue to cultivate this inner awareness, drawing bent knees towards your chest and turning gently to your right side. Take your time to rise up and offer your body a comfortable seat. So in the article I cited today, where envy can be a motive for breaching the principle of asteya, non-stealing, one of the antidotes proposed was cultivating gratitude. Today's meditation is focused on gratitude. It's a powerful choice to direct your attention to the ways you are connected to life and its source of abundance, from health to finances, relationships, and personal insights. It's a bold step to invest this moment in joy and reframe your perspective from envy or any feeling of lack that may evoke the urge to steal or breach the principle of asteya. And turn that into seeing through the lens of being full, whole, supported, and worthy. Teacher Nischala Joy Devi reframes non-stealing and all the yogic ethical principles, or yamas, as merely reflections of our true nature. So let's use this practice of gratitude to realign with a feeling tone of our true nature. This simple meditation is as taught by meditation teacher Light Watkins. So as you begin, you might choose to keep your eyes closed or to open them partially so that you're steadying a soft gaze on one spot before you. Start by just making fists with your hands, shrugging your shoulders a moment, and taking a deep breath in. Maybe even let the face tense a bit. And as you exhale a sound, relax all of that. Twice more, inhale deeply, tensing your body for a moment, maybe even scrunching the face. Open your mouth and soften even deeper. Last time, breathe in, tense it up, hold the breath, let the shoulders shrug. Big release through the mouth as you let it all go. Feel your shoulders melting further down as your heart space lifts. Feel the crown of your head lift up as your spine sits tall. Feel the surface of your body is supported by the earth, maybe a blanket underneath. Feel a sense of rooting into that support, of receiving it. Now with palms resting on your lap, you may want to bring left palm over right and let your thumbs meet, or separate the palms and bring thumbs and first fingers to touch. Just gestures to promote concentration, mudras. As your body settles into stillness, a relaxed but alert stillness, soften your attention on the natural flow of your breath. Feel its ease coming in, nurturing the cells of your body, and feel its ease leaving, releasing what's no longer needed. With your attention, gently riding the waves of your breath as they come and go. In your mind, I invite you to complete the phrase, I am grateful for. Let yourself ride a state of flow, of listing one thing after another. I am grateful for. Let your natural breath pace you without stopping. I am grateful for. And if you feel stumped, keep the momentum going by perhaps saying, I'm grateful for my life. And then keep going. Let's try that for a few minutes. Now, just as physical yoga is a continuous practice, we don't just practice Warrior Two once and never again. Gratitude is a continuous practice in order to be effective. So finding ways to integrate it consciously throughout our daily lives, returning to that feeling of wholeness, being supported. Let this be a way of practicing Asteya. Let's bring the palms to meet at the heart, bowing into clover with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.